Now we want last left off way here. Now the part that we didn't talk about is the controller. And this controller is linked to this Fxml file. So notice here, let's search for handle submit button action. If I go to the Fxml example, I'll do Control F and search for that value. And what this represents basically is when I click on this, I will actually call this function called handle submit. So if we go back to the controller, which is this right here, this is what makes it work. So I call this method, then this action target, which is connected to the text field. So if I go back to Fxml and I search for action target now, action target is that text field right next to it or below it. Okay, so the first thing is, let's just run it again just to see what it does. I click here on search. It clicks and answers this question or populates this text field with the following value. Okay, so this is what I want to do. Let's change this code slightly just to see it work. On this one, let's call this something meaningful, and I'll call this search lookup. Now once I do that, notice that it's complaining. The reason that it's complaining is that it's going and looking at this particular file here, and it's seeing that that's not the name of the method. It can't find the method on this page. So I will actually put that method here, minus the pound sign. Save it. Make sure you put the pound sign here, and of course, when you're in the controller, don't put the pound sign here. Then I'll just change this to say tax lookup search for, and just put a space there. Let's save it. Let's run it. Let's click on search, tax lookup search for. Let's then click on OK and make one slight change again. Okay, so if I run this again, I want to grab the value that's in here, and then we'll display it in the message. So it'll say tax lookup search for whatever tax code we put up here. So if we go back to the Fxml example, the reason we can code against certain objects is it must have an ID. So let's find where that particular field was. That's a tax code, and next to it was a tax field. So let's say here we're going to say fx:id is equal to tax search. Now you're just getting a warning here saying that basically on the controller doesn't have this field. So let's go to the controller, and I'm going to copy this data type here, text field, and let's add it to the controller. I'll say here, and I need this annotation Fxml. Let's make it private so the rest of the world can't see it, and I'll call this what was the name that we had here on the XML? We called it tax search. So let's make that also tax search. This is complaining because we need to import it. Make sure when you import it, it's coming from Java FX. Save it. And now that means we have access to the tax search. So what I'm going to do here is let's put up plus, we'll say tax search, period. Let's get, and I'm looking to get the text out of there. There goes the text. Let's save that. And let's run this example again. Now let's type in NY. If I click here on search, tax lookup search for NY. CT, tax lookup search for CT. Okay, let's close this and stop here for now. Let's click on stop.